Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. With the introduction of the iPhone 15, iPhone 15 Plus, iPhone 15 Pro, and iPhone 15 Pro Max in 2023, Apple will maintain its 4 iPhone range. The iPhone 15 Pro models, like the iPhone 14 Pro variants, will contain features that are not present in the iPhone 15 devices that are more reasonably priced. This summary summarizes all of the information that has been leaked regarding the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. The iPhone 15 Pro is anticipated to be 6.1 inches in size, while the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which will be identical to the iPhone 14 Pro versions, will be 6.7 inches. With Apple offering slimmer, curved bezels and a new titanium chassis, it appears that the iPhone 15 Pro versions will have an updated aesthetic. Additionally, a revamped mute button that might really function as an action button like to the action button on the Apple Watch Ultra is anticipated from Apple. The present mute switch will be replaced with the mute button. The iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max will be the only devices to use the newer 3nm A17 processor. All other iPhone 15 models will continue to use the A16 chip seen in the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. The dynamic island and the switch from Lightning to USB-C will be present on all iPhone 15 models, but the iPhone 15 Pro range will also include an improved USB-C connection with USB 3.2 or Thunderbolt 3 transfer rates. The A17 processor is anticipated to come with more RAM, although all iPhone 15 models will use the same 5G Qualcomm modem chip for connection. With the exception of one significant difference, the telephoto camera lens, the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max will mostly have the same features. Part leaks and renders. In February, a picture of an iPhone 15 Pro with a USB-C connector leaked, giving us our first glimpse at the device's appearance. In April, dummy models and numerous renderings were released. The similarities between the Lightning and USB-C ports on the current generation of iPhone 14 Pro are noteworthy to note. The picture features a brushed metal surface that might be the speculated titanium chassis and reveals the deeper curve that Apple is anticipated to add to the iPhone 15 Pro variants. We can see how small the bezels are thanks to leaked front glass panels made for the iPhone 15 Pro models. And there is a definite size difference. The standard iPhone 15 devices won't change. Only the iPhone 15 Pro versions will have smaller bezels. The thinner bezel design is visible in the image below that contrasts the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro prototypes. Initially, rumors said the iPhone 15 Pro versions will have a unified volume button design. Apple is going back to the traditional two-button design it used for the iPhone 14 Pro since the upgraded one was associated with solid-state button technology, which it no longer employs. The design has been altered. Thus, previous renders and leaks that showed only one button are no longer accurate. Design details. Similar to the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max, the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max are expected to include 6.1 and 6.7 inches OLED panels with dynamic island cutouts for the camera and Face ID technology, respectively. There have been rumors that the chassis of the two Pro variants has undergone minor alterations. The iPhone 15 Pro models are anticipated to have curved, slimmer bezels than the iPhone 14 Pro version. Despite having smaller, curved edges, the screens would still be flat, similar to the Series 7 and Series 8 Apple Watches. The iPhone 15 Pro is anticipated to have bezels that are 1.55 mm thin, which would break the record for a smartphone's narrowest bezels. Titanium chassis. According to reports, Apple will switch to titanium this year in place of stainless steel for the frame of the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. Titanium is stronger and lighter than stainless steel, but it also costs more since it is more difficult to work with. The 15 Pro and Pro Max are anticipated to be lighter than their iPhone 14 Pro predecessors because, assuming no other significant modifications to internal components, an iPhone built with a titanium frame will be lighter than an iPhone built with a stainless steel frame. As the gadgets won't be manufactured from pure titanium, the alloy that Apple employs will ultimately decide weight. Colors. The iPhone 15 Pro models can come in a deep crimson hue that is somewhat reminiscent of maroon or burgundy. Apple typically introduces one new color each year, and speculations indicate that the color for this year is a deep red. Dark purple, green, and dark blue were among the previous hues, and the shade of red will be offered alongside conventional silver, gold, and space gray color selection. Volume buttons. The solid-state buttons that would replace the physical buttons on the iPhone 15 Pro versions were first anticipated, along with Apple's use of an extended, single-button design. Apple intended to employ haptic feedback to simulate the experience of pushing a button, creating the impression that a button is being pressed even when there isn't one there. Apple was rumored to be utilizing this technology for months throughout the rumor cycle, but in April the firm decided against moving further with solid-state button technology. Ming Kai Kuo, a reputable Apple analyst, claims that the company encountered unresolved technical issues. Action buttons. Apple is reported to be replacing the present mute switch with a button design, albeit there won't be any noticeable modifications to the volume button. This button is anticipated to be physical, similar to the volume buttons, rather than solid state. There is currently no information available on the potential capabilities of the action button, which is said to replace the present ring silent switch situated close to the volume buttons. Apple is anticipated to alter how the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max are restarted and turned off using the new action button. The iPhone 15 Pro models may utilize the action button in conjunction with the side button to forcibly restart and turn off the iPhone rather than hitting the side button and a volume button. Display. A more power-efficient OLED display driver chip that is created using a 28nm technology may be included in all iPhone 15 models, allowing for less power usage that might eventually increase battery life. Dynamic Island updates. The dynamic island on the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Pro is anticipated to have an upgraded design with a built-in proximity sensor. However, neither the dynamic island's appearance nor its functioning will be much altered by this modification. It will affect component costs, and may be a move made by Apple to slightly reduce device costs. Periscope camera. The iPhone 15 Pro series will debut with new periscope camera technology. However, the update will only be available on the larger iPhone 15 Pro. One of the rare occasions when Apple has restricted new innovations to the bigger 6.7 inches Pro iPhone while utilizing a subpar function in the regular 6.1 inches Pro iPhone is with the inclusion of the periscope lens to the 15 Pro Max. The iPhone 15 Pro Max's telephoto camera will feature a periscope lens technology, enabling a 5x or 6x optical zoom. The iPhone 15 Pro is expected to include a 3x optical zoom, similar to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Due to the internal space requirements for the hardware, Apple is most likely reserving the periscope technology for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. A primary lens is often used in a periscope lens system to take the picture, and then the light is reflected 90 degrees by a prism or angled mirror toward a secondary lens, which then feeds it to the image sensor. In order to increase focal length, the image sensor and secondary lens are mounted horizontally within the smartphone, taking up precious surface space. A folded telephoto lens system that fits in the chassis of a smartphone while still enhancing optical magnification is possible because of the directionality change of the light and the usage of a prism or mirror. The actual telephoto lens will probably need to be square-shaped, a change from the circular telephoto lens used for the iPhone 14 Pro Max because of the way light is reflected at an angle in this system. Though the actual lens inside will be square, the camera cutout might still be round. Apple will need to incorporate optical image stabilization into the device to prevent blurriness and minimize movement for clear images at higher magnification. Additionally, an upgraded Sony rear camera LiDAR scanner is anticipated to be included in the iPhone 15 Pro version. The LiDAR scanner in the iPhone 15 Pro will either be more power efficient and require less battery. It will provide better performance at the same level of power consumption, since Sony's VCSEL has lower power consumption than the present Type A17 chip. Apple's next-generation A17 processor, which is anticipated to be the first A-series semiconductor produced using a 3nm technology, will power the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. The change to a newer technology will lead to reduced chip sizes due to an increase in transistor density. The A15 and A16 CPUs, which are both used in the iPhone 14 versions, were created using processes using 5 and 4 nanometers respectively. The long-term development effort of TSMC to perfect the 3nm process. It is expected to reduce power usage by up to 30% while improving processing performance by 10% to 15%. The 3nm processors are more expensive to produce, thus starting in 2023, the A17 chip will only be found in Apple's iPhone 15 Pro versions. Fast USB-C. Apple is changing the design of the iPhone 15 to include a USB-C connector instead of a Lightning port due to regulatory restrictions in Europe. According to EU legislation, all gadgets must have a universal charging connector. Therefore, Apple must either create an iPhone specifically for Europe or make a global adjustment. The iPhone 15 Pro versions are anticipated to offer faster data transfers even though all iPhone 15 models will include USB-C. The iPhone 15 Pro versions will enable transfer rates of up to 20 Gbps at the very least, or up to 40 Gbps if Thunderbolt is available, over USB 3.2 or Thunderbolt 3. Wi-Fi 6E and 5G. By 2023, every iPhone will employ Qualcomm's upgraded AIX70 processors for quicker processing, wider coverage, more power-efficient operation, and less latency. The iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max are anticipated to be the only devices that support the speedier Wi-Fi 6E protocol. Wi-Fi 6E delivers greater bandwidth than Wi-Fi 6, resulting in quicker connection rates, reduced latency, and improved capacity. In addition to supporting multi-gigabit connection for venues and whole home gigabit coverage, Wi-Fi 6E offers 1.2 GHz extra spectrum in the 6 GHz band and has the ability for greater data streams like those utilized for AR and VR application. SIM card tray. The SIM card tray was eliminated from Apple's handsets sold in the US with the introduction of the iPhone 14 variant. The SIM tray could be eliminated in more nations with the release of the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Pro models. According to current rumors, it will be deleted in France. If this is true, it may also be removed from iPhones sold in other European nations including Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal, and the UK. Release date and pricing. If Apple sticks to its usual September release schedule, the iPhone 15 models will most likely be available in September 2023. The tech researcher Jeff Pu predicts that the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max will cost higher than the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. Pu predicts that costs would rise as a result of the titanium frame, A17 chip, and other factors, but he made no predictions as to how much. According to rumors, the beginning prices for the iPhone 15, iPhone 15 Pro, and iPhone 15 Pro Max will be $899, $999, and $1,099 respectively. That's all for today. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you all.